Welcome, folks. Rambam. We are still learning about the temple, holy temple, and the laws. We are in Maisa Carbonis, the act of bringing what's involved in bringing offerings. We're in the 10th chapter. So it's a positive commandment for the sin offerings and the guilt offerings to be eaten, as it says, and they shall eat the sacrifice which convey atonement. Right? The Kohanim eat the sacrifices and the owners receive atonement. Right, you can't eat your own sacrifice for your atonement, but the Kohanim can do it for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. This also applies to other sacrifices, like communal peace offerings, right? That they're eaten by the Kohanim, partaking of them is a mitzvah. Chai.
A lot of food. A lot of home.
They were on a whatchamacallit kind of diet.
Atkins or ketogenic.
Keto diet. Yeah.
The one who started the entire trend was Atkins, and
Atkins, yeah.
Keto was the extreme.
Yeah.
No carbs?
And they made fun of him in the 60s when he started that. They made fun of him. It took 40 years for the medical community to acknowledge what he
What, that protein?
The Atkins.
Protein?
Yeah,
Okay, similarly,
the
partaking of protein of the portion that remains from the meal offerings, this is not the protein, is a positive commandment. As it says, what remains of it shall be eaten by Aaron and the sons. So see here they got they got protein and they got their carbs. The only question, by the way, is the veggies. So it seems like the kids got it right. You know, the kids hate vegetables, right? It looks like the Kohanim, they don't get vegetables, right?
They get wine?
Not to drink it really. It's just libation, right?
Oh, okay. Waste.
All right. Number 3, the sin offering and the guilt offering and the remnants. And the remnants of the meal offering may be eaten only by males. Of the, yeah, but that was different. I forget now what that was. What that was referenced to. Again, because there are things that the household can eat, right? So therefore, Rambam has to make clear the things that can't eat. Okay. Of the priestly family, the temple court, and in the temple courtyard, right? If they were eaten in the temple building, their consumption is acceptable as indicated for all of the meal offerings, for all of the sin offerings, and for all of their guilt offerings in the most holy place. You shall partake of it. So it sounds like it's only in the building of the temple that it's right, but they say that they explain that it's preferable and consider that, huh?
They have to sacrifice it, right?
We're not talking about the part that's sacrificed. We're talking about the part of eating now.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, so the main place of eating, because it's holy food that you're eating, is in temple courtyard. That's where the divine presence is. But if it was outside of there, it's acceptable. Similarly, the communal peace offerings are similar to the sin offerings, guilt offerings, as we've explained. Okay. the breast and the thigh of the peace offerings are eaten by both males and females. Oh, you see here, there's a difference, right? Of the priestly family. For with regard to these, it says, I have given it to you, to your sons and your daughters. So the verse says explicitly there that it's given to the family. So the family of the Kohen who's doing the service can, right? And this is also applies to the elevated portions of Thanksgiving offering and the Nazarite ram. All of the elevated portions of the consecrated offerings that the children of Israel shall raise up, have I given to you, your sons and your daughters. By the way, also the peace offering doesn't have to be eaten only in the temple courtyard, because the temple courtyard, the women can't go there, non-Kohanim can't go there, and the women can't go there. So because this can be eaten outside of that place, so therefore they are able to partake of it.
Gotcha.
The same applies with regard to firstborn offering. For concerning it, it says the meat shall be yours, like the breast of the tenufa was performed with the right thigh. So it's comparable to the peace offering, because the peace offering, you're getting the breast, right, as we just mentioned, right?
Which can be shared,
Which can be shared, exactly.
but it doesn't mention the wife. Sons and daughters, but it's implied, I suppose, wife.
Because halachically, a wife is considered like you.
Okay.
You're two halves of one, spiritually, you're two halves of one soul. So it's considered in this, and like in others, if it's saying children, your wife comes before your children, in the sense of I don't know what it means, and whatever it comes first. Okay,
I'm sorry.
all of these portions of sacrificial meat.
It's interesting because the guilt and the sin offering is only eaten by males, but the peace offering, all the pleasurable stuff, is the whole family.
Amram, you don't understand. You just don't get it. Men are always guilty. Well, a woman's going to eat from the guilt offering. What's she guilty of?
You have some ladies listening to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't see any of them laugh. I see the men all laughing. I didn't see any of the ladies put up a smile over here. Either they're not listening or they're upset with me. All right.
Silly thing.
All right. All of these portions of sacrificial meat may be eaten by women and the priestly family, right? Eaten, and the Kohen, their servants and their wives, like truma. So it's like truma, right?
Truma is where they would get their vegetables.
Right. Exactly.
A little salt too.
That's what they get the vegetables.
Hmm? Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. It could have been wheat, right? If their field was wheat, I mean, whatever your field was, whatever whatever the produce is, right? Yeah. No, I was just pointing out that it wasn't specific, as opposed to meat is specific and the meal offering is specific, right? But yes, that's where they get their vegetables. Sorry, where were we? Okay, so they're eaten. So all of these portions of sacrificial meat that are eaten by women of the priestly family may be eaten by the priest's servants and their wives, like truma, the wives of the servants. In other words, all these sacrifices may be eaten throughout the city of Jerusalem. Right? These are lesser holiness. The sin offering, guilt offering are holier, and therefore they can only be eaten on in the courtyard. Right. By the way, where's the courtyard? Means still here. This area here. Right. Not this area. This is the women's courtyard, not this area. This area here. Okay. So as the verse says, and the breast which the tenufa was performed, and the thigh that was lifted up, you shall eat in a pure place. It is not specified that they be eaten in a holy place. Interesting. Which would mean a temple courtyard, but a pure place. Doesn't say kadosh, it says tahar. Tahar, right?
Your place?
Yeah. This refers to the camp of the Israelites, parallel with regard to the future generation of the city of Jerusalem. Okay. So interesting. The same laws apply with the tithe offering and the Paschal sacrifice, for they are sacrifices of lesser sanctity, like the peace offerings. The windows and thickness of the walls is considered as being within the wall, city wall. Back then, they had walls, and then they had inside the wall, you had like a little kind of, living space sometimes. So the thickness of the wall was considered part of the wall, and therefore part of the city.
Window.
Okay, we're good.
Footnote.
Wonderful. Okay, the peace offerings may be eaten on the day that they are slaughtered, throughout the following night, and throughout the following day until sunset. So 2 days and 1 night, right? As it states, on the day when the sacrifice was offered, it shall be eaten, and on its morrow. One would partake of the peace offering on the 3rd day. If one, on the 3rd day, thus one can derive from this that they be eaten for 2 days and 1 night. This applies to the portion of the Kohanim and the portions of the owners, but this also applies to the firstborn and tithe offerings, for they are also sacrifices in a lesser degree of sanctity, like peace offerings. So I'm not, what do you mean on the 3rd day? The verse continues, they shall bear a sin if it's a 3rd day, right? Okay, he didn't continue the verse. The verse says on the 3rd day, if you're going to eat it, then you are going to bear the sin because you can only eat it for 2 days and 1 night. Okay? That is the peace offering. It's called the Korban Shlomim, right? Now we have a Thanksgiving offering by contrast, which is also under the category of a peace offering, but it's specifically a Thanksgiving offering, a Toida, Korban Toida. When do you bring a Thanksgiving offering? Anybody know?
In the holidays?
No?
When Mashiach comes.
No, well, no. I mean, maybe you will, but yes, but you bring it, a woman who had a baby, to give thanks to Hashem. If you were in prison and got out of prison, if you traveled across, the ocean or in a desert, and you came from, right? Daniel today, he made the bracha because it came from Israel, right? That's based on the Korban Todah. Right. Todah means thank you. Right.
It's described in Psalm 107, 4 categories.
Right, exactly. Yes. So it's a lesser sanctity, may be eaten only on 1 day of its sacrifice and the following night. Like today and tonight until dawn or midnight, rabbinically. As it states, it shall be eaten on the day that it was offered. Do not leave anything until the morning. So it's only 1 day, not 2 days like the peace offering. This also applies to the Nazarite ram and the bread which accompanies these offerings, both the portion of the Kohanim and the portion of the owner, right? And now there's 1 day, 1 night. This also applies to the sin offering, the guilt offering, and the communal peace offering is as opposed to personal peace offering, right? And the remainder of the meal offerings. All of these are eaten one day and the following night, as it's written, and it shall be eaten on the day it was offered.
We're comparing to the peace offering.
Yeah. This appears to include all the sacrifices with the exception of the peace offerings concerning which the Torah explicitly states otherwise, and the firstborn and the tithe offerings which resemble the peace offerings. So the firstborn also. Firstborn means I'm certain what the firstborn, because the firstborn means firstborn animal, you give it to the kohen. And the tithe offerings means the 10th. Okay. According to scriptural law, all of these sacrifices that were beaten on the day of their sacrifices in the following night may be eaten until dawn. In order to separate a person from sin, our sages said they may eat it only until midnight. Right, we mentioned that. All of the sacrifices, both those of the highest degree of sanctity and those of the lesser degree, may be eaten only by those who are ritually pure, right, and who are circumcised. Even if the duration of the person's impurity has concluded, but he has not brought the necessary atonement, right, he may not partake of sacrificial foods. A tumtum, who has signs of both male and female, they're kind of covered over though, so you don't know if male or female exactly, may not partake of sacrificial foods because there is an unresolved doubt whether he is uncircumcised. It appears to me that an androgynous may partake of sacrifices of a lesser sanctity. So if someone's androgynous means both signs that are clear. I mean, as long as he's circumcised, I guess. Right? One has both male and female sexual organs. Right. Okay. It is permitted to eat sacrificial meat together with any other food. Even the Kohanim are permitted to eat their portions, both from the sacrifices of the highest degree of sanctity and those of lesser degree, together with any other food. And they may change the manner in which it is prepared to be eaten, eating them roasted, lightly cooked, or thoroughly cooked, and to spice them with spices that are not consecrated. They may not, however, spice them with spices that are truma, lest it cause the truma to be disqualified. Huh? I mean, you have to be pure to eat it. It is pure. Oh, they have to be consecrated. They have to be pure. Right. Okay. The bones that remained are permitted to be used for any purpose. A person may not make a utensil he desires from them. May make any utensil he desires from it. Back in the day, used to take bones and they used to make utensils from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could do it. Not considered desecration of a consecrated article, as long as there's no meat on it, right? If it was fit to eat, right, some meat from it, so then you can't do it, because that is holy. That is sanctified, right? Very interesting. Okay, I have to stop here.